4 cops and nobody else taser worked? It's 1 taser for 4 cops? So you want to know why we are upset that you executed this man in the street?
You won't be able to talk today because I'm going to keep talking because I was born to talk my talk and walk my walk too. I told these young people back here on our way here that we have the power, not that badge, not that weapon. We have the power. The city of Madison is corrupt. From the VA to... We've seen the cameras. We've seen. It was a knife in this young man's hand. We don't want to hear that today. We didn't want to hear it when they put their neck on George Floyd's neck.
But when it comes to a black man, they are so quick to take our life, man. They are so quick to take our life. And all they get is whenever there's a police involved shooting, they get a paid lead guys pending the outcome of the investigation.
It is fear. And I oftentimes talk about this in my trainings, and people really like scoff when I say this, but the fear on behalf of the police officers, it's real, and it doesn't help us to not talk about it as though it's real. Is it incorrect? Absolutely. Is it real? Yes. Why is it real? Because stereotypes and years of conditioning have created an atmosphere where...
So apparently outside of ICE, we still got to deal with the police taking the lives of black people in the middle of the street, being judge, jury, and executioner. So Corey Ruiz was gunned down by the police in Madison, Wisconsin. It was caught on video from multiple angles.
You got cops, 4 or 5 of them got some black kid down on the ground, and they can't control him, and they end up shooting him. And they don't shoot him in the legs, they kill him. They shoot him in the head. And this is going on over and over and over. I can't imagine if I wasn't a white guy.
Listen to what he said. They don't shoot him in the legs, they shoot him in the head. Powerful words. Because why did they need to take his life? Now, what makes that comment to be even more striking is that it came after this white man publicly questioned why deadly force was used instead of, other options. I mean, he even admitted, I can't imagine if I wasn't a white guy.
I can't imagine if I wasn't a white guy.
Highlighting concerns that many people believe race influences police encounters. But in this video, we will hear passionate reactions from black voices. Some are white people, community leaders, and others responding to Corey Ruiz's death in Madison, Wisconsin. Now, let's watch the video until the end and hear different perspectives, different, difficult questions that are being asked, and then we should decide for ourselves whether justice, accountability, and equal treatment under the law are truly being saved. If this is your first time, please subscribe so we can have more of these updates. Otherwise, I love that you came, and let's dive into this.
Corey could have been my brother because my brother is homeless. He often rides a bike when we meet up by the beacon, and Corey could have been a Charles. But speaking of Corey specifically, Corey has a family who loves him. I believe Corey has a child. Corey is a human being. My first thought is when the officer is walking away, why isn't he walking away in cuffs? That's my first thought. Because I'm looking at a Corey who can be a Charles, who can be a Clyde, who can be my son, and I'm angry. There's like no way around it. And while we know that there will be investigations and all of that, the thing for me is that his death is final.
This is an incredibly difficult moment for the Madison community, and I understand the very strong emotions that people are feeling. I'm feeling them too. As a city, as a community, as a society, we have to do better.
I think this family deserves real answers, not just a press conference. They deserve a department, and the community deserves a police department worthy of the trust needed to serve the community.
Why do police have to use deadly force when it comes to a black man? Whatever happened to using non-deadly force, like they tasers that they carried? Police are quick to use their sidearm when it comes to unaliving a black man. And it's true, guys. I've been sitting back watching for the last couple of days, man. I seen a cop, man, multiple cops, subdued a homeless man, Madison, Wisconsin. They unalived him right there on the streets. For whatever reason, they said he had a knife, poked one of the officers in the finger or in the hand with a knife. They unalived him, pew-pewed him 3 times, guys, in front of everybody. But then just 2 days earlier, I don't know what city or state it was in, there was a white guy wielding a machete in the street, going bizarre with the machete. People got nervous, got worried, and they called the police. Police pulled up, pop, they hit him, but they didn't unalive him. But when it comes to a black man, they are so quick to take our life, man. They are so quick to take our life. And all they get is whenever there's a police involved shooting, they get a paid leave, guys, pending the outcome of the investigation. And the outcome of the investigation, it always lands in their favor, man. And then there's another black man dead. But when these white people, man, and this ain't about race, man, this is about facts. This is about facts. We bury our people every single day, man. You guys know that there's been more police unaliving incidents, man, ever in 2026, man, than in the past. And it's scary because we don't know who's next, man. They are trained to use their tasers, non-lethal force when necessary. But when did it become necessary for them to use deadly force when a person is already on the ground? You guys see the story in Madison, Wisconsin? How many police officers was right there on that guy? Was it necessary for them to really fire a shot? Even if the guy did have a knife in his hand, was it necessary for them to use lethal weapon, lethal force? He was already on the ground. Even though there's a public outcry about the situation going on right now about the guy in Madison, Wisconsin, we know the results already. They're gonna find a way to justify it and say that the police officer or officers did anything wrong at all. They did nothing wrong at all, man. Another statistic, man, and that's what they call us, man. They call black people, man, statistics. Another stain on the ground. We're not a number, guys. We are statistics in the eye of the law when it comes to them unaliving us. That's why they don't call us suspects. You know what they address us as? They address us as subjects. We're subjects. The subject is on the ground. The subject has been arrested. The subject is in custody. These police officers are not trained properly, man. I don't know about y'all, but I'm terrified to get pulled over by a police officer, man. I'm terrified. These cops can pretty much do anything they want to you, man. And then they get away with it. And all you is just another statistic, another stain on the ground. They'll pull the fire engine up, put that stuff down, and they'll hose it up good, remove your stain, and get you up out of there. And then they'll move on to the next one. My thing is, man, are we really safe, man? We know racism still exists, guys. We know this. It never went anywhere. They just camouflaged it. But are we safe even leaving the house anymore, man? It's crazy. White guy 2 days ago had a machete, threatened the lives of many people. They didn't take his life. This guy in Madison, Wisconsin, they took his life. He wasn't really a danger to nobody. I'm confused, bro. I'm so confused.
More on shooter bias, because the fact that we don't talk about this given the state of policing and excessive force and the shooting, killing, maiming, etc. of Black and brown people in the United States, people perceived as foreign in the United States, is such a deeply rooted, deadly problem. Shooter bias, again, regardless of the race of the cop, you are more likely as that cop to shoot an unarmed person of color than an armed white person, is stemming from something much deeper. And it's the perception of threat. It's the perception of danger. It is fear. And I oftentimes talk about this in my trainings, and people really scoff when I say this, but the fear on behalf of the police officers, it's real. And it doesn't help us to not talk about it as though it's real. Is it incorrect? Absolutely. Is it real? Yes. Why is it real? Because stereotypes and years of conditioning have created an atmosphere where we are made to fear people who we perceive as foreign, people who we perceive as different, whether it's a visible physical disability or an accent that we perceive as different from our own. people who are in larger bodies, people who have darker skin tones. When you add to that the hundreds of years, quite literally, of violent oppression and repression of Black and brown people in this country, when you add to that the racial structure that we have in this country of Jim Crow segregation being built on the back of enslavement, leading into mass incarceration and leading into whatever the fuck this shit is now. When you think about that, it makes sense that police officers wrongly fear Black and brown people. This is why racism matters. This is why even the seemingly small, insignificant things that we do to feed into stereotypes and perceptions of otherness and foreignness matter. Because they add up over time, they snowball, right? They have a cumulative effect, not only on the lived experiences of people of color who are experiencing the racial slights, the racial interactions on a constant, consistent basis, but also in the minds of the people who are perceiving people as other. That shit adds up. It is so much easier to view someone as a threat, as less human, less deserving, whatever it might be. The more distance you put between yourself and them, the more that you feed into the stereotypes, the decades, generations old stereotypes about those people, whether it's stereotypes about Indigenous people, whether it's stereotypes about Black people. The more we feed into that, the more that we build upon it, the more dangerous we become to one another.
So apparently, outside of ICE, we still got to deal with the police taking the lives of Black people in the middle of the street, being judge, jury, and executioner. So Corey Ruiz was gunned down by the police in Madison, Wisconsin. It was caught on video from multiple angles. There were 4 officers to 1 man. Allegedly, one of them was stabbed, and the one that was stabbed decided to turn around. Instead of taking care of his wound, decided to shoot that man 3 times in the head. Corey didn't go to jail for assaulting a police officer. Corey did not go to trial to have his day in court. Nope. That cop decided to have the ability to be judge, jury, and executioner right there. A knife to 4 people with guns says a whole lot. And yet, we know he's going to say he feared for his life. Like clockwork. They will always say that they fear for their lives when it comes to Black people because we don't have the complexion for protection. We've seen video after video where non-Black people have assaulted the police and lived to tell the story. We've seen how non-Black people, especially white men, have assault rifles and taken the lives of multiple people and still get to go to jail and have their day in court. And yet the police keep fearing for their lives and taking the lives of Black people because they can. Historically speaking, we think about slave codes and Black codes where laws were in favor of slave patrollers and paddy rollers, which are now police officers in the United States, where they could take the lives of Black people for just existing. And the law would be on their side. And here we are yet again, another summer, because it seems like we've been recording police officers taking the lives of Black people every summer since 2012, nonstop. And we've seen policies like qualified immunity rise to protect police officers whenever they do things like this. And these policymakers continue to push that narrative that officers can fear for their lives when it comes to Black people and shouldn't have to face repercussions. Corey Ruiz was a human being, gunned down in the street as if he was less than a dog. And the police chief made it seem like we didn't see what we saw from multiple angles. We didn't hear what we heard from multiple angles. That was excessive force. A knife that was tossed to the side to 3 bullets in the head with 4 police officers on 1 man. Yet you are trained to de-escalate, but you don't de-escalate when it comes to Black people. We are here yet again. At some point, we have to wonder, when does it all end? When does it end? We are tired. My prayers are with Corey's family and the people of Madison, Wisconsin.
Let's talk about Corey Ruiz from Madison, Wisconsin. So I'm doing some research and I'm about to post up something soon about the Madison Police Department and the fact that they don't have any body cams. Apparently, the police chief wanted body cams, and it was supposed to be in some budget for 2027, and it got disapproved. Now, the story that the cop is saying is that they were chasing him. He had a knife. They tried to use a taser. The taser didn't work, so they shot him. 4 cops and nobody else taser worked? It's 1 taser for 4 cops? So you want to know why we upset that you executed this man in the street? I'm fucking pissed. I'm tired of my black brothers and sisters dying. Y'all ain't mad enough for me, because we should be out in them streets heavy.
Welcome back, brothers and sisters. Now, let's talk about it. You know, there are moments in life when somebody feels so exhausted, you know, so overwhelmed, just tired, you know. They just want to leave everything behind and maybe search for peace somewhere else. I mean, that's the kind of emotion, you know, reflected in one of the comments that stood out. I mean, let's read this comment as somebody pointed that exactly. The comment said, ICE is for immigrants. The regular police department is for us. I think he's trying to mean black people. Our ancestors died to give us the right to leave this country if we want. Why we never choose that option? I want to go and live free. I want to be safe. I am leaving. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean living is the answer or something we are recommending here, but I think it simply shows just how emotionally drained and frustrated somebody can become after repeatedly, you know, seeing stories of black people getting killed, you know, like this every single day or every other week. So, yeah, when somebody is fed up like that, it's easy to make, you know, that kind of decision, like maybe leaving the country or maybe going somewhere else can be the option, but it's not what we are trying to talk about in this video. But yeah, I hope you get the concept. Now, as I was watching the video, I came across, you know, different concerns. So for the sake of making the video a little bit shorter, I think let's just discuss, you know, 5 main concerns discussed in this video. But before we get to that, if you are finding some value in this video, please can you hit the like button, and I'll greatly appreciate. Now, going to the concerns. The first concern, you see, in the video, many people are asking whether deadly force was truly necessary, especially when multiple officers were like, they were there, okay, surrounding one individual. One person against 5 police officers. Now they wonder whether every available option to de-escalate the situation had been exhausted before shots were fired. You know, it's always good to look at it. What's the available option before you go to that option? Okay? Why are they going to the shooting in the first place? Now, second, people are questioning whether everyone receives the same treatment, you know, especially under same situation. Now, in the video, several speakers compared this incident with other cases where suspects from different backgrounds, like from, you know, let's say from white communities, survived the encounter with police. Those comparisons have fueled broader discussions about fairness, about consistency, and equal protection under the law. So people are like having that kind of question. If this boy was a white person, could shooting be the first option? Could they do that? Okay, so that's so concerning. And the third concern people are having in the video is, you know, they are calling for greater accountability. Now, in the video, almost throughout the video, speakers repeatedly argue that investigations alone are not enough. They believe communities, you know, deserve transparent answers, thorough reviews, thorough investigations, and confidence that every case will be examined, you know, independently. Not because it's black people, then it should take time before justice is there. Sometimes not even there at all. Justice doesn't come at all. Because black people have been saying there are cases of, you know, black people who died like 4 or 5 years ago, but until today, answers are not provided. So people are having that kind of question. Will everyone be the same under the same law? Now, fourth concern, you know, it's just about the trust. Because when community members feel that, you know, important questions remain unanswered, you know, there are more questions than answers, it's hard to rebuild confidence, okay? It's incredibly difficult for that confidence, you know, to come back. That's why these people are genuinely saying, the police in this area, they just corrupt, you know. That guy in the is it a court say, you know, the police in this area are just corrupt, because that trust was lost. That's why so many voices keep emphasizing, you know, communication, you know, transparency and public confidence in the investigative, you know, process. Now, the last concern, people are expressing emotional exhaustion, like they're exhausted beyond this single case. Many speakers describe fear, frustration, sadness, you know, segregation, you know, racism continuing, and some sort of uncertainty. So whether viewers will agree with that opinion or you don't agree, but I think these emotions are clearly part of the conversation, and they help explain why this story has resonated with so many people. Now, I would really want to hear from you. Whether you are black, whether you are white, which side are you? After you have heard this story, this tragic story, what stood out to you the most after watching the video? Which concern do you believe deserves, you know, the most attention? So I would greatly appreciate if you share your comments down below. Share your thoughts respectively. Yeah, because whatever you say is also part of the conversation. And if this is your first time here, please don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and yeah, turn on the notification bell so that you should never miss any of the updates that may make, you know, headlines. And as always, thank you for watching. Stay informed, stay tuned, and you know, I wish you all the best. Please stay safe. May God bless you. May God help you to be, you know, to be safe wherever you go. Take care.